take your votes. What's a king without a crown? Take away his curling gown. He could be the rabble or the Russian Tsar.
Yeah!
Judge each creature of our race by each feature of his face. Just look at him, I rest my case, so there you are.
There you are!
It matters not to me what part of town you come from. We but cheer you've made it here at all. Here within this garish parish hall, the music hall. And there you are! How very glad we are that there you are! Isn't who you are, but where you are! And there you are! And grateful are we to see how fine and fair you are! There you are! Yes, Angela, you're up there!
Oh, come here, Bill!
Well, there you are!
Yes, I'm finding my people walking down the aisle here.
Yeah, who's that with you then?
Well, I'll tell you. I've been chatting to the gentleman. Hosting singular events on placing both this kind of work.
Naughty, sir!
I'm concerned to bring the laugh of a most engaging chap, and I let him do exactly as I please.
I'm a lady down in front, expanded me her latchkey. Johnny has no skills for doing that. And these lovely people bravo me more or less. Cheers!
And this man has grand designs to show me in my dressing room.
Naughty, sir! Naughty!
There you are! How distant, gay and debonair you are! Just like the western places where you are, and there you are, and grateful on you should be how well aware we are. So lightning quick, let's all kick out the fuss. We cannot pray your trust is flying with us. So drink your feeling, just unwind with us. A warming, wicked frame of mind with us. You'll find in us. We want you and not our love. We care for where you've been, and not a job. We care how you got in. We but care that damn it, there you are.
Thank you so very much. Welcome and good evening. The warmest good welcome and evening to you on this most thrilling of evenings here at the Music Hall Royale. For tonight, we have the privilege to present for your approval, for the first time ever, the completed musical edition of The Mystery of Edwin Drood! This being a musicale with dramatic interludes. Now, I'm sure as many of you are well aware, our own Mr. Charles Dickens was fully halfway through the completion of the greatest mystery novel of our time when he committed the one ungenerous act of his noble career. He died, leaving not the slightest hint as to his intended outcome for his most bizarre and uncompleted story. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, when we reach the part of our story where Mr. Dickens wrote no more, we shall be asking you to decide upon key issues concerning the outcome of our plot. And our cast will make its most earnest effort to meet the supreme challenge that to contrive an ending towards your specifications. So come now. Let's all be as vulgar and civilized as legally possible! Take off your boots and lace your corsets and enjoy yourselves! Oh, and any gentleman who arrives at the theatre alone this evening and would like to have some companionship through the kind of final curtain
Or beyond.
Yes, you must only speak to our stage manager, Mr. James Throttle, whose pleasure it is to see that you shall never be lonely again. Yes. And please be aware that these sparkling relations entrepreneurs are not salaried employees. So please do contribute generously to the cost of their theatrical studies. Yes, you understand, don't you? Oh, and please do, men, have all goods returned by tomorrow morning.
None the worse for wear.
Right, thank you. Now, on with this evening's bill of fare. For the first time ever, the completed musical edition of The Mystery of Edwin Drood! winter season now upon us. Cold wind blows through the elms as they shed a gush of tears. And we enter the home of Mr. John Jasper, choir master of Cloister Cathedrals. John Jasper, choir master, composer, organist, vocal instructor. He has a voice that even angels might hear.
Another trifling day, one poor soul stifling day of blinding pain. Boredom grinds my brain down to the brain. A man can go quite mad and not be all that bad. Consider each superb discovery herb you ever had. To curse aloud in church, when choke each bullet who throws a smile your way. Bad as it may, a man can have bad dreams, and not be all he seems. Yet not be far removed from all the noblest of extremes. Sometimes I think that sanity is just a passing fad. A man could go quite mad. Unblessed are the dull, one ceaseless, peaceless love. Some wondrous night, storm struck, found crisp light, will cast me right. A sculpture lacking arms, a sorcerer lacking charms, a fiend who fights no one, but there's no one that he harms, whose clutches clutching only desperate respite of this dim tower. Knowing this is so, I find myself in thought, where one cannot be caught, and feed on dreams that contradict each needed I've been taught. And if someday I lose my way in line, you might be mad. A man could go quite, a man could go quite mad.
And who better to essay the role than our own gifted vocalist, Mr. Clive Haggett? John Jasper awaits the arrival of his beloved nephew and the title character of this evening's diversion, young Edwin.
Hello, Uncle.
But there's the lad now.
My dear Uncle.
Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. Devotees of male impersonation are used to seeing Miss Nutting donning top hat and tails as she does her edition of Aunt I Have a Toff. But this evening, she hides a distinctive form beneath the garb of a young Edwin Drood. A warm round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for tonight's guest artiste and London's leading male impersonator, Miss Alice Nutting!
Any dinner, Uncle?
And forget, Ned, that uncle and nephew are words prohibited here by express agreement.
Of course you're right, John. After all, we have only half a dozen or so years between our ages. Hello, Jack, don't drink yet. I must propose a toast.
A toast to what, Ned?
Yes, to what? To Rosa.
Rosa.
To the fair Miss Rosa Budd. Surely you've not forgotten that Rosa and I are soon to be wed.
It had not quite slipped my mind.
Yes, a tedious ceremony in your creaking cathedral. Then it's off with my wonderfully beautiful child bride to dusty Egypt, where I intend to shake things up a bit.
So it is certain. Egypt seems a desperate great distance.
Indeed it is, John. This portrait of Rosa is not one of my better efforts, and yet you choose to hang it here. In heaven's name, why?
Well, because it reminds me of, you, Ned, and the happiness I wish for both you and Rosa.
Oh yes, I'm sure we'll be very happy. Although our courtship suffers from a certain flatness, owing to the fact that my dead and gone father and her dead and gone father had all but married us at birth. Why the devil couldn't they have left us alone?
Tut-tut, dear boy.
Tut-tut! Oh yes, it's very good for you, John. You have the freedom to love whomsoever you choose.
Well, please, don't stop, dear fellow.
But do.
Go on.
Have I hurt your feelings?
How could you have hurt my feelings?
Good heavens, John. You look frightfully ill. There's a strange film come over your eyes.
I've been taking medicine for a pain, an agony that overcomes me. And
forced of late to seek treatment in London. Fear not, the effects will soon be gone.
Dear uncle.
Heed this as a warning, Ned. Edwin, this is a confidence between us.
It shall be sacredly preserved, John.
Confided in you because
Because we are fast friends, and because you love and trust me as I love and trust you. Shake hands, Jack.
My dearest Uncle Jack,
my dearest nephew, Ned.
our life without a friendship would be life as good as dead.
The winds of hell may blow, but as you well may know, I'll heed your call, your nature's call to grace the higher below. For you, to kingsmen more than brothers, we know no next of kin,
And yet we know no others
closer beneath the skin.
The blood that flows between us, the bonds that tie us twain.
To kingsmen where all others flee and we remain. My dearest nephew, Ned.
My dearest Uncle Jack, if men say words against you, I remain no take them back. A loyal lad of mine would be but glad to die. If by my death would ask the breath of the night for you I die. 'Tis
Tis
true,
true,
for you.
to kingsmen more than brothers, we know no next of kin, and yet we know no others closer neath the skin. The blood that flows between us, the bonds that tie us twain, to kingsmen where all others flee and we remain.
Tis true,
For you, to kingsmen are we due. Miss Alice Nutting and Mr. Clyde Paget, ladies and gentlemen. Young Edwin Drood is visiting Cloisterham in regards to his bride-to-be, the lovely Miss Rosa Bard, who, like Drood, is an orphan. Rosa resides in Cloisterham's most respectable seminary of ladies, aptly, if not correctly named, the Nun's House. And portraying the role this season, that most beautiful of English roses, that blossoming bud even yet to be plucked, I give you the unspeakably lovely Miss Deirdre Herman! Rosa, happiest of birthdays to you. I only pray I may be able to say those words on each of your birthdays.
I fear that it's not likely, since, as you know, your nephew Edwin and I will be departing for Egypt once we are married.
It was only a wish, Rosa. How lovely you look. I've awaited your birthday with great eagerness.
Eagerness, Mr. Jasper?
Yes, your voice will no longer be subject to the fluctuations of adolescence. And in what condition is your voice today, my dearest student?
As my tutor, perhaps that question should best be answered by you, Mr. Jasper. Shall I sing the next part?
No, I've composed a song on the occasion of your birthday for my lovely subject. Choir master's pay being what it is, my life's blood, the most I can afford to offer.
Sir, Mr. Jasper, I cannot sing these words. It would not be proper.
Why, whatever do you mean?
I am not worthy of it.
As your music master, that should be my decision. From the beginning, if you please.
Between the fairy tale of night and day, upon a steely
feel that you mean them. Once again, from the beginning.
Between the very dead of night and day, upon a steely sheet, I can't bear this, I'm frightened. Take me away.
It's nothing. It's all over. Don't speak to her for a minute and she'll be well.
She's not used to an audience. Besides, Mr. Jasper, you are such a conscientious master that I believe you make her afraid of you. No wonder.
No wonder.
You'd be afraid of him under similar circumstances, wouldn't you, Miss Landless?
Not under any circumstances.
Her own fiery spirit. The unpredictable is Janet Oliver. Good afternoon, Reverend Mr.
Mr. Jasper, and may I introduce young Neville Landless. He and his twin sister Helena have both arrived from Ceylon. Their parents moved from England to Ceylon when the twins were barely 3 years of age, and they no longer have any family. Young Neville has been entrusted to my care, and Helena will be living here at the nun's house.
Welcome to Cloisterham, Mr. Landless!
I'm afraid young Master Neville has been given over to me to calm his rather hot-tempered nature and to help him make a new start here in Cloisterham.
You and your sister lost your parents recently, Mr. Landless?
They both speak English, Mr. Jasper. They are British subjects. They've just lived most of their lives in Ceylon.
Oh dear.
Their mother died when they were quite young, and now their stepfather has crossed over as well.
I'm most sorry. There is no need for you, bright gentlemen, to console me. As it happens, it was well my stepfather died when he did, or I might have killed him. The newest member of my company, Mr. Victor Grinstead. I surprise you, son?
You shock me. Unspeakably shock me.
You never saw him beat my sister. My stepfather was a brute, Mr. Jasper. In desperation, Helena tried on more than one occasion to flee his cruel and miserly hand, even disguising herself as a boy, but to no avail. As for myself, I have had from my earliest remembrances to subdue a deadly and bitter hatred, which has made me secret and revengeful.
I say.
However, sir, your kindness and goodwill have deeply moved me. I pledge to change my ill-mannered ways and break new ground for myself.
There's the lad. You see, Mr. Jasper, he'll soon blend in.
Your pupil, Mr. Jasper. She sings beautifully.
Thank you.
Your efforts have not been without success.
I should think not, Mr. Landless.
And may I inquire if the relationship extends beyond that of pupil and master?
Heavens, no, Neville. Miss Budd is betrothed to young Edwin Drood, Mr. Jasper's nephew.
I suggest you cast your eyes and interests in other directions, good sir.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Jasper.
No pardon is necessary. However, I must be off. Quiet practice, I fear. Wish you well in your new life, Mr. Landless.
Yes, indeed. Yes, Mr. Jasper. I trust we shall meet again. And I should very much like to meet this Drood and see what sort of man is worthy of the affection of Miss Budd.
Steady, lad, steady.
You are feeling better now, aren't you?
Much, thank you.
These surroundings, which may seem very secure to you, are new and unsettling to me. You will be my friend, won't you?
I will be as good a friend as such a mite of a thing can be to such a womanly and handsome creature as you.
Who is Mr. Jasper?
My Edwin's uncle and my music master.
You know that he loves you.
Oh, don't. He terrifies me. I feel I'm never safe from him. He has made a slave of me with his looks
No, I do think we'll have at least one proprietor that's forward food for this evening, then. Yes. Now, we leave the chaste sanctity of the nun's house and travel for reasons which will soon become clear to the wicked soul which is born on the fabric of the city of London. So below the street, beneath the content, lies the opium den of the Princess Puffer. Here, the universal tongue of opium is spoken, with its sub-dialects: prostitution, burglary, violence for profit, and murder. And reigning supreme over this blemish on England's fair complexion is the Princess Puffer, who ministrates to her client's needs and hears more than she tells. Portrayed this evening by the Grande Dame of the Music Hall Royale, the Queen Mother of the Red Light District, that good woman of ill repute, our own beloved Angela Graysock!
Rhymed, Opa. That's what I tell them. If it did, would I be here? Mixing pipes, but then I sells them for a pint of rotten beer. Throats you cut to pocket the ribbons, then you stop to catch some sleep. Wash your face for nearly tuppence. No disgrace to work so cheap. So I says, don't be a sinner for the price of a London gin. You can't pay for 1 square dinner with the YGs of sin. So we saw, call love, come off it. Who would buy this sack of skin? In the hole, there ain't much profit in the YGs of sin. In the YGs of sin. And the YGs of sin. Hello, love. Fancy seeing you here 2 nights in a row. Tell me, who you been buttering up to instead of me? What little raspberry tart is yo? Beg pardon, miss, I'm sure. First night out on the town with him, then I. Well, God bless you. I've had him on numerous occasions, and I can assure you that whatever he has in store for you later, it will be over in an instant. What are they paid to buy the note these days?
I'm a bitch.
I've seen notes from gutter families, blue rich men with fluttering wings. Then they call past the jam please of a natural breakfast trays. Over there in bed 11 lies a laden hypocrite. Spends his days eyes cast to heaven, spends his nights amongst this shit. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I assure you that will not happen again. All right. Okay. Who was I? All right, shit. So why I say, don't take half measures, do your part and dig right in. In this world, there's greater treasures than the YGs of sin. I get threats, but seldom offers. If I did, I'd bag it in. You can't fill too many coffers with the YGs of sin. Now, you're going to give your old loves with the last note, all right, with the wages of sin. With the wages of sin. Grand bloody hell. We can all do better than that. So let's get them off your butts. I'm serious. Get them off your butts.
non-parishioner of cloisters and Jesus. He's surprised as light sneaks in to find in benevolent Wiremaster, Mr. John Jasper!
Woman, I need long and winding quickly. My task is not yet finished, and your medicine is less potent than usual.
Lord of Drood, so you're mixing the wine with the opium, is it?
Yes,
It's
yes,
now.
yes. Just before I can get to the changes of colors, ooh, great landscapes. I must be rid of him. Him.
Cook's figure there's no one there.
There he is.
Yes, of course. Now, be still and have yourself a pleasant journey.
Rosabud!
Did you just say Rosabud?
I don't seem to recall what I said. Could you point me to the train station? I seem to be lost.
Private Threepence, Rosamond.
Oh, seems a hefty price for such a simple ass. But if you are that needy... And the train station.
The closest one is an old gate, about a 10-minute walk away from the river.
Thank you. Incredible!
Boom.
What are you?
I wonder how many of you caught that last scene. Sounded suspiciously like glue to me. Could we have it again, love? Yes, again.
Who are you? What are you?
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Indeed. It's now the next day. We find ourselves in less salted surroundings as we meet Boystrom's leading citizen, Mayor Thomas Sampson.
Good afternoon, Mayor Sapsy.
With a sack of what? That's simple, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, I beg your indulgence for a brief announcement. The role of Mayor Thomas Sapsy will not be portrayed by Mr. James Hitchens as the stated in your program. As many of you may know, Mr. Hitchens has more frequently found himself at the bar in the rear than here up front in the footlights. And our regulars will be not surprised that he is once again massively indisposed due to injuries he received while fighting for a lady's honor. Apparently she wanted to keep it. So the role will be portrayed tonight by your own humble chairman and obedient servant, of course, ladies and gentlemen, I am speaking of myself, Mr. William Cartwright, and I do hope this last minute substitution meets with your approval. I trust that the lack of applause will mean you're just preserving your energy. Let's try that again. More your luck than mine.
Good afternoon, Mayor Sapsy.
Good afternoon, Reverend.
And these are my new charges from Ceylon. I'm taking them to meet, and in fact, here he comes now. Helena, Neville, allow me to introduce young Edwin Drood.
Sir.
Sir, I congratulate you on your good fortune, Mr. Drood.
Good fortune, sir.
Your betrothal, sir.
Oh, yes. Rosa.
Our young Ned has set himself to depart for your segment of the globe, Neville.
Sail on, Mr. Drood.
No, but much the same. Egypt.
To make your fortune, sir.
No, to ensure that Egypt has one. I shall shortly be taking over my family's engineering concern there, and I plan to pull off a miracle.
Pray, what miracle?
The Cairo Transverse, Mr. Landis, a thoroughfare of commerce and coach travel across the desert to Alexandria. A monumental task, Mr. Drood. Yes, one wonders from where one will obtain, for example, the paving stones from the pyramids.
No.
Yes, my studies show that there is enough rock in the top half of the Great Pyramid alone.
This is blasphemy! Are you not even
Neville,
possible?
please, let us not raise our voices here in cloister maestry.
I meant no offense, sir.
And I did not mean for my awkward ways to rouse such emotion or to ruffle your splendid feathers, Miss Buck.
I am sure Mr. Landis only feels passionately about his part of the world, Edwin.
As long as he keeps those passions in check.
I fear I have not yet accustomed myself to your restrained climate, Master Edwin.
My uncle has already given me some account of your hot-blooded temperament and past, sir. I only hope you've left them both behind you. Come, Rosa. Neville!
You see, Mayor Sapsy, it's just as I've been saying. There is an instinctive rivalry going on between my dear boy and that Neville Landis fellow. It is hot-blooded, Eastern temperament.
Exaggerate.
I shall go mad! Do you not see? There is more than one side, one face to all things in nature. But between Neville's English manners, in English accent, there is a heathen who would kill as easily as he would curl his slick hair.
That's extraordinary, Mr. Just.
To the contrary, it is very ordinary, sir. I'm sorry. I myself suffer from a duality of sorts on occasion. I will forget things, and in going back to fetch them, half expect to meet myself rounding a corner I've already turned.
But not me. Having a sapsy fellow in your chairman. Damn confusing.
Like our little Landis fellow. I find that I am not myself these days. For all I know, I might be in more than room enough for two inside my mind.
I am likewise in a haze of who I am from sea to sea, which falling to before I be not in a mind. For is it I, or is it me? And if I'm him, and if I'm he, each one of us might not agree on what to do.
And if I take opposing sides with myself and two divides out what is right or wrong,
I'll go along with you.
no! Hippity, hoppity, toppity, croppity, 12 to a shield, twist, and 12 dollar,
That is scheduled for later in the program. Must not break the dramatic momentum we...
After
we follow Deputy and hers to the graveyard of Cloisterham.
Who's there? Mr. Jasper!
You cunning devil, have you been watching me? I'll have the blood of you! There, that'll serve you!
You murdered him!
What's he saying?
Murder!
Stop
Murder!
talking such lunacy, Turtles! Oh boy. Here, help me revive the boy. Perhaps we can get him up and he'll be able to...
There, you bastard, and I'll steal your eyes out next time, so help me!
Quiet, you young wretch!
Why do you insult me this way, Deputy?
You're right for the asylum, Mr. Jasper!
Peculiar lad!
Blame it on his infectious youth, sir. Well, that was excellent wine you gave me. Much more potent than even I'm accustomed to. Say, did you get a chance to go down and see the crypt?
No, I seem to have gotten lost.
I was lost myself, sir, in a fitful dream. I imagine someone touched me and took something from me. And there it is now. Oh, Mayor Sapsy wouldn't be too happy about me leaving the mausoleum keys right in front of his wife's crypt. He gave me strict instructions to, well now the key to his wife's crypt is missing. Oh, what do you think, Mr. Joshua?
I think I have guests arriving soon for the Christmas dinner. And a poor host I not to be there to offer all the comfort and joy of the season. Merry Christmas to you, Turtles.
God rest ye, Mary.
Yes, we've spent many a pleasant enchanting afternoon here among the silent tombs, eh, my own betrothed? No, Rosa, we are not legally bound to marriage.
Then, Eddie dearest, let us change to brother and sister from this day forth.
Never to be husband and wife, never. I am honored bound to confess that this idea does not originate with you alone, Rosa.
I know, dear one. You have not been truly happy with our engagement, nor have I.
I am sorry, Rosa.
And I for you, poor boy.
Oh, if only our marriage had not been assured since birth. Perhaps then we would know how we truly feel towards each other.
If we were perfect strangers, how perfect life could be. I'd know if I adore you, you'd know if you love me. Too much we've seen together to judge from you.
bowels of the graveyard. And joy and cheer, the Christmas season now upon us. And a Christmas dinner full of goodwill and hope. Or is it? What a bizarre climate you have here, cloister. First snow, and now this terrible storm. God must be angry.
What a storm for Christmas Eve.
Yes, 'twas like this the night Rose's mother died.
Neville tells me you were once engaged to Rosa's mother, Mr. Crisparkle.
Yes, yes, but I was a bit too Anglican, a bit too angular for her taste. And then, at a seaside party celebrating her 2nd anniversary, just months after Rosa was born, she apparently slipped while walking unobserved along the cliffs and drowned in the embrace of the ungrateful waves. But enough! Let us follow Mr. Jasper's lead and forget our grievances with life and with each other over a sturdy Christmas dinner.
I only pray that you'll forgive the meager merits of my humble table.
Hello, all. Sorry we're late, but we thought
Oh,
we'd
Miss
stop
Bud,
all the way here.
how wondrous it is to see you again. Here, let me take your coat.
No, I will take it.
Rosa, you have no idea what it means for me to have you in my chambers.
Miss Bud, how is it in a season of holly you remind me of the flowering hibiscus?
And how is it that you remind me of an inconsistent baker, Neville? For while your metaphors are quite stale, your manners are uncommonly French.
You go too far, sir, gentlemen!
It's Christmas Eve, and I will tolerate no further unchristian-like behavior. Now, this mulled wine is very good stuff indeed. I prepared it especially for you from a recipe I obtained on a recent trip to London.
Well, any port in a storm for me, Uncle.
Yes, any port in a store. Very good, Edwin, very good. None for me, thanks.
Now let us drink deep.
This wine is more potent than usual, Jack.
I thought you lads would like it. Now, let us have no more ill will between you.
Please, Edwin.
All right, Neville, you have my friendship, if you wish it.
Then a Merry Christmas, Edwin.
The goose is cooked!
Miss Bud, I believe your next Christmas will be in Egypt.
My God, Landis, perhaps you should accompany us to Cairo. I'm sure Rosa and I could use someone to carry our flags.
What?
Someone more acquainted with a foreign tongue than he is with minding his own.
Gentlemen, ladies, please be seated.
Sir, I don't much like your tone, that super seriously you wear. Clear you wear a finer cut than mine, but a waistcoat won't it soon be torn away like you should be your blood so blue.
Something in this speech seems ominous to me. We don't overeat, we promise this to be.
Praise to him divine, for this we should be glad.
Won't you try some wine?
No good can come from bad.
My dearest nephew Ned, I wish to wish you well. The world is yours before you, just like
Oysters on Michelle!
Landless as you are and know your blood is hot but less than pure, less than sure than we, your history would indicate. The path of some have passed when through your veins your brood is thus exposed. Something sends a chill like feet upon my grave. Can my strength and will completely never save?
What these words they say bring harm upon the lad.
night must follow day.
No good can come from bad.
My dearest, deepest friends, may I propose a toast to Rosa Bud and Edwin for a free cheer?
And here's the roast!
How very blessed are we, when oh so many stars, thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
Which one of you will come?
His lances cut like paper, rolled with daggers drawn. I glare at you, dare presume to stare into my fate. My wife and share my life, I see you dead before sweet Rosa wed.
Wait, wait, dear, I feel it, I fear it.
on your wall.
And we must retire to the nun's house before the storm. Good night, Edwin, my dear. Everyone.
Rosa, be careful how you tread, Neville.
Well, I shall see the ladies safely home.
Will you join us, John?
No, I'm afraid I have plans I must execute. But I will not let you go in that flimsy coat. You shall instead wear my humble yet serviceable caped coat. Come then, your destiny calls.
Well, goodbye, Uncle. Goodbye, all.
When shall these three meet again? When? Yet never. It is now late the next day. Christmas Day, to be sure. The storm has passed, and in its wake, there is no trace of the young Edwin.
Mr. Crisparkle? Oh, Reverend, I just know something terrible has happened to Edwin.
Oh, let us wait until my assistant Basil reports. You have heard the sentiment voiced on shore that no news is most certainly good news. Ah, here he comes now. What news, Basil? No news. There, you see? I don't believe you've met my assistant Basil. His chief occupation is in guiding excursion parties around our church. Quite the showman is our Basil, though tragically misplaced.
Misplaced.
Yes, he carries with him a secret. Now, Rosa, what is it that you think?
Oh dear, nothing dreadful, I hope.
Mr. Basil has written a play, a tragedy.
The thorn of anxiety.
When will it be performed, Mr. Bassett?
Never.
Sometimes I think Mr. Basil has more pride in its lack of support, like a citizen of Greece who prefers the Parthenon in ruin. But I do hope to see his work performed someday.
I too, Mr. Bassett.
I love the theatrical world, but there are many stages beyond the proscenium. I long to play a larger part.
Then, Mr. Basil, use your enviable creativity to find some accounting for young Ned.
That assignment I eagerly accept.
Oh, my dear, hopeless Edwin!
Oh, how like her mother she looks. Had the Lord seen fit to smile upon me, had she not married another, nor met her death 2 years later at that pleasure party by the sea, I might have been Rosa's...
Father, I need your prayers.
Rise, my child. The cathedral bell summons us.
And is it not significant, Mayor Satsy, that Neville Putnam was lost at sea, fleeing from his village? You've convinced me, Mr. Jasper. There very well may be a murderer hiding within Cloister's most affectionate bosom. And it very well may be that Neville Landis. I couldn't agree to be more, sir. I shall have some strong men go and find him and use whatever means necessary. Bring him here so we may question him. You do that, sir. All right?
We'll find that Neville Landis right enough now.
Yeah, and when we find him, we'll educate the murderous swine.
Right, and with any luck, we'll have a hanging for Christmas.
That's the dogs!
Oh, we're getting a puppy. Oh, Mr. Jasper! Mr. Jasper! Look what I've discovered!
Oh, it's my coat. What I gave Edwin last night. Oh, there's blood! It is blood! Where did you find this?
Under a rock by the River Weir.
My boy has been murdered. I take this oath before you, Basil. Record it in your memory that I will fasten the crime of murder upon the murderer, and that I devote myself to his destruction.
I shall remember your words, Mr. John Jasper!
I guess that's it for you this evening, Philip.
That's right.
Hardly seems worth him coming down from Knutsford each night. You seem to be specialising in these narrow parts of late.
Not by choice, Mr. Cartwright.
See, in Julia sees you were a
A senator.
Ah, yes, well, at least ready for the kill. There's something curious why Mr. Dickens created your character at all. Unless, of course, he had a more promising future in mind.
That's been my solace in the role, Mr. Cartwright.
Well, Act 1's the most over. Act 2's considerably shorter. Should we have a song? Would you like to hear a song?
As a matter of happenstance, I do have, in common with my role this evening, aspirations as an author. And I've composed a brief song which I venture to sing underscores the dilemma I share.
Come, back.
Nevertheless.
Ladies and gentlemen, we take an unscheduled diversion on our journey this evening as we present an unpublished and probably rightfully unheard composition. I give you Mr. Philip Black singing his own Never.
And I'll have my night someday. Still, each precious heart seems over and done before I be gone to sleep. I cast out my line and keep my hand in, but I'll not stand in this week. Some starless night, they'll call towards the winds. Who here dances and sings? That's when yours truly springs, and seeing me, then they will fly. Fly, knows each line and everyone's cue. We must let him do the part. I'll lead center stage, the music will play. I'll waltz my way into your heart.
Nothing, I'm certain, lad. There must be some...
Never, ladless. Where is Edwin Drood?
Where is he? Why do you ask me that way? Because you were the last person who spoke to me, and he is nowhere to be found.
Mayor Sapsy, do you wish to question him?
Yes. You left her with Edwin Drood at what time? In all honesty, I cannot recall anything that transpired once Edwin and I reached the river. But there was blood on your shirt and on your walking stick. I acquired these bloodstains, sir, just now, when these men of yours dragged me forcibly back from the countryside where I've been walking. That is Executive Constable Cloister. I place you under arrest.
Neville! How many men did it take to mar you in this way?
8!
You have an interesting way with the law here at Cloister, Mr. Sapsea. And you, Mr. Jasper. For days you've been warning all Cloister of impending violence between your nephew and my brother. What do you know of all this?
Only that my nephew is dead.
Mayor Sapsea, I warrant that young Neville has no knowledge of Master Drood beyond that which he has freely volunteered.
And you shall volunteer nothing further, Neville.
I should remind you and your brother that there is a charge of murder at hand.
Before you utter that word again, you laughable man, perhaps you will be good enough to supply a body, a victim, a corpse, something more tangible than an errant nephew, a timorous uncle, and a ludicrous city official who has no backing for his charges beyond pure pomp and sheer circumstance.
Hear, hear.
Well said, Helena.
She's right, you know, Mayor Sapsea. Without a body, you cannot possibly arrest young Neville.
Very well. Release him.
Bless you.
I am overpaid.
I only wish I could express my gratitude without this strange, somewhat geographically untraceable accent.
Let's pause here for a moment, shall we? Here's where we stand. Edwin Drood is missing, and most likely dead.
John Jasper has sworn his vengeance against the murder.
Whom most of this populace believe to be Neville Landless.
But the charges against Neville have been rescinded, thanks to Helena Landless's steely resolve and the kindly support.
The Reverend Mr. Chris Fargo, who was once engaged to
Rosa's deceased mother. Meanwhile, it's difficult to know what one should make of.
the drunken stonemason girls and his young assistant deputy. Not to mention
The mysteriously motivated purveyor of opium, the Princess Papa.
All statements you should evaluate during the interview, with one warning. Should you find yourself running to conclusions about all the relevant facts, you may find yourself carried off to the races.
Yes, Bill! Let's chorus them off to the races!
Yes, what brings us rather adroitly to a song. What evening at the Music Hall Royale would be complete without a rendition of the traditional anthem?
Off to the races!
Quick conclusions often lead the best of us astray. The wisest move in life is just to wait.
Otherwise are galloping, emotions run away like horses at the gate.
Right!
Off to the races, off to the races, off to the race we go. And where the chase is, and what the pace is, we seldom seem to know.
men with broken hearts vow to nevermore pursue a member of the salt and savor race.
Same race!
Firmly anchored to the ground, they suddenly will view a fair and favored face. Then,
Off to the races, off to the races, where flirty faces call.
The saving graces, strong drink replaces the need for love at all.
Don't fall back on your assumptions, hasty presumptions might do you in. Mind the track like a nag running blind, try lagging behind, you'll find you'll win.
Bless our Queen Victoria, she's had 9 years to date. You wonder how Prince Albert will be amused. Probably by her decree, you have to procreate, said she, make me amused.
Off to the races, the royal races, the same as all folks do.
the mystery of Edwin Drood! 6 months have passed. An English summer is in progress. And still, there is not a trace of the young Edwin Drood. All of Cloister is agog with rumor and suspicion. But there have been further developments. 2 inquiring sleuths are about to appear on the scene. One being the Princess Puffer, whom you've already met. And the other, the detective, a man of mystery, who dons a bulky coat and a fulsome beard, and goes by the name of Dick Datchery.
Hey?
I said Dick Datchery.
Right.
These 2 apparent strangers arrived with grand intentions and great expectations, which I might add we are presenting in Brighton next season. And, like us all, they are just now arriving from Cloister Station. And there's John Jasper. Returning from one of his treatments in London. And please note, among the many curious souls of Cloister, none are more intently curious than these 2 sleuths.
I'm on the track of a man who's dissipates.
I'm on the scent of a resident who's gone without a trace.
Just when did Drood depart?
And what was his destination? This is a private investigation.
Oh, Reverend, all things bright and beautiful this evening, don't you think?
Yes, as if the stars were but punctures in the ceiling of earth, through which heaven's light can be seen. Or something along those lines. I only wish my assistant Basil, who is away on business, could see a night such as this.
Hold on now, boy. There's a face we've not seen yet before. Welcome to Cloister, Captain. I'm in a way of being an official greeter for anybody who might have the price of a bottle of wine on them. My name is Drood.
My name is Datchery, Dick Datchery, and I was wondering if any lodgings could be found in these parts.
Oh, no doubt, Mr. Datchery.
Something architectural and out of the way, inconvenient.
Oh, we have any number of inconvenient lodgings here in Cloister.
Close to the cathedral as well.
Excuse me, I couldn't help overhearing. The only lodgings along those lines would be a room above the rooms of Mr. John Jasper.
Is that the fellow who is much afflicted by the loss of his nephew, Edwin Drood?
This much afflicted fellow, John Jasper, is he who's dressed in mourning these days?
That's right, and you won't find me going near him again.
And why is that, boy?
Because I don't fancy being lifted off my legs and chucked again.
I find this most interesting. I shall enjoy watching the comings and goings of this town.
That man should really speak to a tailor.
Miss, I was wondering if you could show me to have John. Oh, are you ill? No, I always look this way.
Rosa, we've been guilty of neglecting your music lessons. When shall we resume?
Never, sir.
Am I being politely told that you've abandoned your studies altogether?
The politeness is yours, not mine. I beg not to be questioned. I will not answer any more if you say that in my power.
Rose.
I do not wish to hear you, sir.
I do not forget how many eyes command a view of us, but you shall hear me, even against your wishes. Dearest Rosa, charming Rosa, even when you were engaged to my boy, I loved you madly. I hid our secret loyalty, did I not?
You were as false to him, sir, daily and hourly as you are now. You know that you made me afraid to open his kind eyes to the truth that you are a bad, bad man.
How beautiful you are. Are you even more beautiful in anger than in repose? I don't ask for your love. Give me yourself. engaged with that pretty rage, that enchanting scorn, it will be enough for me. I'm warning you, sweet witch, rare charmer, that you must stay or do more harm than can be undone.
You're mad!
I need to show you how mad my love is.
Love! You dare to use that word!
Yes.
Love is but a word that wandered here from pastures green, where it was rarely said or seen and seldom sung. Innocent enough, it was intended to be used on rare occasions, not abused by every tongue. Never has a word been ever taken so in vain, what little meaning might remain is quickly blurred. Never has there been so quite exhausted such a term, no signs and syllables confirmed how drained this word. You call it love!
I call it love.
I call it rude. You call it rude. I call it love.
You think me just?
I call it rude. I call it cruel.
I'm a fool.
I can't
Still
bear
I dare
to call it love. I think it foul.
I see you scowl.
I think it vile.
I see you smile.
No more I'll take your cunning guile.
Yes, no, that I-
You're worse than bad.
My words are mad.
You give to sin in the name of love. Rose around the dainty the face, whose every curl confirms that she's a child, a girl, and you're right. Rosa is the only soul in cloister, it seems, whose sense is just the sort of dreams you dream at night. Did you think your stare would stop my sleep? Every fibre of my being told me since I was betrothed. That's your most unnatural attention. Hot as words I dare not mention, you must know how much I loathed. To know your wants, to see you clutch, to hear your voice, to feel
Is it so much?
dreadful touch,
us.
to even speak
I only see
in
the
the name
name
of
of
love.
love.
I will not fear
I don't believe
my tragic plight.
the angel
I
Christ.
have a choice.
Oh,
I take to flight.
that's amazing.
I will not permit you to desecrate
It's angel.
the name of love.
The name of
The
love.
name of
The
love.
name of love.
The name of
The name of
love.
love.
The name of
The
love.
name of love. The name of love. La, 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 la.
And in the moonfall, can you not see this victim and know his slave? Save me, and let me see. Shine the day, my song transfixed with the Love is love. You call it love. Your name is love and thrilling to me. Beneath these skies one night alone, would she dare? Beneath her eyes one sight alone, we share. The sight of moonfall as it comes into view.
So I'm from a statue shall be still and roll along. Alone, alone, and lead to the sea of light is wonderful and
Well, just a word something. I do have one of the very bits of information that I came here for.
So you leaving Cloisterham already?
Not bloody likely. You come all this way, just turn away to put one piece of the puzzle in your hands. Never in my whole wretched life come this close to something I set on about. Nor the fool I read to turn away now. What am I winning? Never understood those in life who ease up just when they should be pushing on. Once I bet my last 10 pence and won. Twice the richer friend said, call it done. How sad I
beats within your breast never rest. Don't quit while you're ahead. Sing out, there's more in store for thee.
I see my dream ship finally coming in like a steamship, anchor into wind.
Lift your chin. Remember what I said. Don't quit while you're ahead. Let go.
I know there must be love that's yet to be, only just 3 weeks away from me, hopefully.
Don't quit while you're ahead. Don't worry how you tread. Who cares? And there's a chance, one pipe dream that's mine, or romance quite ripe upon the vine.
Don't resign.
No victor ever fled. Don't quit while you're ahead to stay. Hooray, ta-ra, boom, bang it, crash it, hooray, hurrah, boom, bang it, crash it, hoo-la-dee-da. Don't quit while you're ahead. Don't say I'm off to bed. Farewell.
Full well I know, don't let the moment go to waste, not with victory close enough to taste. Heed it all with all due haste.
For God's own sake, so raise the stake. You struck the lucky vein, never break through any lucky chain. Now we play. Don't quit while you're ahead, as easily done is said. You'll see. Ta-ra-ta-ree, boom, bang it, bash it, hoo, glory be. Boom, clang it, clash it, hoo-la-dee-dee. Don't quit while you're ahead. Sing out, there's more in store for me. There's much more for me. There's much more for me.
Once more, my soul, keep it red.
And now, at last, we see the slightest glimmering of light, quite shimmering in the dim dull of night. So long have we been blind, but finally we unwind the lost. The truth is this, we find it want to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the part of our story where Mr. Dickens wrote the morning. He laid down his pen forever. So, my friends, this is all we shall truly ever know of the mystery of Edwin Drood. But tonight, at least within the confines of this humble theatre, together we shall seek to solve, resolve, and complete the mystery of Edwin Drood! Now, one minor mystery we can resolve immediately, for it has little to do with the outcome of our plot. Most literary experts agree that the character of Dick Datcherley is someone you've already met. A character of Mac One who's been roaming around Costrum trying to shed light on the disappearance of Edwin Drood. And tonight, I'm sure that you have already guessed that part's been taken up this evening by that master and mistress of male impersonation, Miss Alice Nutting. But this does not mean that Edwin Drood and Dick Datcherley are one and the same person. No, no. You see, the reason for Miss Nutting's portrayal of Datcherley this evening is, well, quite simply, she was contracted to appear in 2 acts of this play. And our management believes in an honest week's work for an honest day's pay. But no. Mr. Dickens experimented with many titles for the story of this story. For instance,
The loss of Edwin Drood. The flight of Edwin Drood.
the disappearance of Edwin Drood, but nowhere the death or murder of Edwin Drood. No. So, ladies and gentlemen, this evening you will primarily be making the decisions. But, in a democratic and perhaps dangerous move, we have decided to allow our cast themselves this evening to vote on one key issue each night. So, my fellow acolytes of thespianic persuasion, the question before you Is Edwin Drood dead or alive? Miss Nutting, who has a vested interest in this outcome, will please turn her back to the cast. Thank you. Now, all you, ladies and gentlemen, as the winds may take you this evening, all those who believe Edwin Drood to be dead, please raise your hands now. And all those who believe Edwin Drood to be alive, yes, please raise your hands now. Well, Miss Nutting, it appears you stuffed it. Yes. Now, the next question is, who is Dick Datchery? Now, it cannot be Edwin Drood, because the cast has voted him dead for the rest of the evening.
Ha and bloody ha ha! You absolute envious little shits! It is obvious to everyone here that Drood, that I am Datchery, and it is even more transparent that this petty, jealous cast bitterly resents all the attention I've received in the local press. Goodbye, all.
Really, please, you must at least give me First addressing was too small, then a mustache was too long. I suggested she was splitting hairs. Well, that is it. I must apologize for the messages, and what I'm sure we can all agree is flawless. But I must strenuously point out that many literary experts disagree with the study's intention that Datchery and Drood are one and the same person. No. There are many candidates for the face behind the beard. For instance, I give you Helena Landis. Of her in Act 1, Hell revealed. In desperation, Helena tried on more than one occasion to free our stepfather's cruel and miserly hand, even disguising herself as a whore. A hit! A palpable hit! But is it really for trust or really a diversion? Would not Helena Landis be fearful of pursuing John Jasper under certain circumstances?
Not under any circumstances.
And the list of candidates does not end there. But what say you of Basil?
I love the theatrical world, but there are many stages beyond the proscenium. I long to play a larger part.
Oh, better to don melodramatic garments in the spotlight. Otherwise, why did Mr. Dickens create his character at all? From my earliest remembrances, I've been secret and revengeful. Yes! Who better to investigate the disappearance of Drood than he who was the prime suspect? Or was someone else seeking to clear Neville's name?
Neville has been entrusted to my care.
Ah, the Reverend Mr. Crisparkle, who hides his energies and passions under his clerical garb. Did he perhaps take up another uniform? That of Datchery, to help clear the land of his charge and responsibility? And then, there's the curious possibility of Rosa.
Rosa!
Could we have underestimated the resourcefulness of this woman child? Did she take it upon herself to investigate the mystery that would prove? Looks to be deceived.
I'll say.
Here's what I do know. Datchery cannot be John Jasper, Prince Department, Durdles, Deputy, or my own assassin. For the simple fact that in our play and in this story, they appear in scenes together. They have been seen in this company. So, this means the following candidates for this evening's part of Datchery. Now, I suggest we do this as they do in amateur theatre competitions. I will raise my handkerchief above the head of each candidate. Please pray for applause to the candidate you'd like to see in that role. Now, please understand that we have other decisions to make with the silent murderer, so please do not just vote for your sister who comes from We have the lovely Miss Rosamond. Your true friend. We have all the way from St. Anne's, Miss Neville Landis. Your one friend is here. We have the ecstatic ecclesiastic, the Reverend Mr. Crisparkle. Ladies and gentlemen, now, the tempestuous Helena. underwhelming assassin. Passengers are captured this evening. Now, you go to the please be aware that some of you are going to see It's nothing. It's nothing really. Please. I'm sorry. Such terrible behavior is simply because of upbringing. Her parents were in iron and steel. Her mother irons, her father steels. Well, how about this one? She used to be known as an orthopedic soprano. She sang in all the joints. Getting better, getting better. Oh, let's try this one then. She used to sing in a pub called the Cock and the Comfort. Not much comfort, but plenty of... Ah, see? Yes, you got that. Yeah, I saw that twinkle behind the mask. Now, it has come to a part of every great mystery to find ourselves a culprit, a fiend, a killer. In short, the murder of the late lamented, dear departed, vanished, vanquished, title character of our story, Edwin Drood. Now, I give you the most obvious candidate. Supply Paget and Strong Jasper. Come, ladies and gentlemen, you seem to have peaked on the booing. We're going to try this again, all right? Yes. Now, no. You've messed it up. We're just talking about it. So, listen. At the Music Hall Royale, our grooves have to grow in intensity. Yes. Okay. So, now, if you don't get this right, I swear to God, I will line us all up here, and we will do 83 verses of recantering the church bell so the vicar has the clapper. I will ruin your evening. Let's do this again. I give you the most obvious comedic or villain, Mr. Clive Paget and Stone Jasper. Yes! Now that's something right there. But come, ladies and gentlemen, is this the face of a murderer? All right, forget that. More importantly, is this all there is to the mystery of Edwin Drood? The most obvious candidate did indeed murder his nephew to win the love of the fair Rose of Bud? Where's the mystery in that? Shut your mouth, isn't it? So, where stands it? Would you like to have the most obvious solution, or a more perplexing outcome? Perplexing, yes, thank you very much. Now, here's what we can already tell you. Two candidates can immediately be eliminated from contention. The young deputy and my own Sapsy were clearly written for comic relief and had no intimate dealings with the rest of the cast at all. So this leaves us with the following candidates for murder.
Helena Landless, did I, in trying to save my brother, bring harm to Edwin Drood?
Rose of Bud, why on earth would someone as innocent and pure as myself murder my own true Ned?
Don't. I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than give Drood a funnel lobotomy.
Never Landless. In all honesty, I can't recall what transpired between Edwin and I once we reached the river. But he was an odious little twit, and he deserved what he got.
The Princess Puffer. Who am I? What am I?
The Reverend Mr. Crisparkle. Have I in some way confused my mission here on Earth?
Thank you very much, John Jasper. I have stood in the cold shade of suspicion since our story began.
Time, ladies and gentlemen, to at last decide. Now, I suggest we do this for accuracy by a vote of hands. So, may I please have the house lights up? Oh dear God, is this what we're dealing with this evening? Oh Lord. You two in the back should contact hands and try to see if we reach the living. Right, now, our cast will then disperse themselves among you to collect your vital words. Make sure everyone helps me
Okay.
with your sign.
First 3 rows. We have a piece of tape. We will be voting with me. Okay.
Hi again, I hope you enjoyed the meeting. Now, for the serious business, the voting. Now, who thinks it was the Princess Papa? Papa, anyone for Papa? What did you vote for? Anyone for Papa? No for Papa. Who thinks it was myself, Neville Landless? Thank you, sir. Mr. Nick. Who thinks it was Helena Landless? Helena Landless. Who thinks it was Durdles? Anyone for Durdles? Who thinks it was Jasper? The Reverend Chris Sparkle? You three are very hard to figure out. Who thinks it was Rosa? So hard did I not do that? Well, thank you very much. Please, enjoy the rest of the show. Has everyone voted? We're all ready? Are you excited to find out the ending? Yeah! Guess what? So am I. Faces, faces. You're not waiting this time. But then you will explain. Maestro!
You watched us frown, live, hearing every soul in the town. We're fixed to fill the road, settle down. Your verdict will be clear, your murderer picked is here in sight. Tonight you choose from candidates galore, win or lose. Your grand inquisitor, here's the news. Your judgment has been passed. You settled up the score at last.
Now, I shall offer a sip of port to your chosen fiend this evening, that he or she may know the outcome of your verdict. And to make sure that the final denouement is a complete secret, I strongly request that you close your eyes tightly for the next few minutes. Please close your eyes now.
That was your eyes!
Now, I'm offering the port to your chosen murderer this evening. They are drinking. And right, you can open your eyes, yes. So you can't trust anyone here tonight, can you? So, ladies and gentlemen, as I pass the box backstage, where even now your votes are being counted, I caution you. Please be prepared for twists and turns as we serpentine towards the ending that you have chosen to us tonight. For the mystery of Edwin Drood! The first chapter of Mr. Dickens' story was entitled The Door. Coincidentally, the last chapter he completed was entitled The Dawn Again. So we begin our last chapter among the cold grey tendrils of a dim English dawn.
Oh, bloody hell, it's freezing again. Miss, I was wondering, what is it? Could you spare 3 and 6 for a Christian soul in distress?
We're both Christian souls in distress, my fair, and I've little more than 3 and 6 to get me to London.
Running off somewhere?
Yes, at long last, yes, and now I really must go.
Rosa?
How on earth could you know my name?
No. I've only known you since the day you was born. Only a vague June, fair June. Rosa, don't look at me now. I don't want you to think of me this way, but if you close your eyes and think back some 12 years ago, Rosa, can you look at me and think of your nan? Do you remember your nanny?
Nan. Somewhere. I was 6 and then you weren't there anymore.
God bless you.
I do remember. But why did you leave me?
Rosa, it's help myself to common one thing. I was once your nan, then I met a man, tall and old, golden hair, that's where my end began. Let him have his way with me, make his way so well, let me down the garden path to hell. Marriage in the end, what I got instead was a bed in Camden Town, and then to me said, should I send round a friend to kind of this swell, strolling down your garden path to hell, make your bed of roses and sleep in it, cuddles even in, pray you never wake, soon the deadly poppies come crawling on, fairly popping from the seeds of one mistake. Won't be back all day, penny savings pay. I took to drink, so not to think of who'd come next to play. I gave him a chit, the every cent he gave me farewell, leaving me to lead the path to hell. Life's a maze of hedges that prickle you, as they tickle you, they tear you all about. Strolling through the mazes, amusing too, but confusing when you find there's no way out. Lost me looks by then, couldn't draw the line, so I learned to trade and earn my keep with the rugs, and then I found myself a wicked shelf where opium myself. Here's a pipe for you, sir. Price is 5 and 2, sir. Can't you see the garden? It's such a lovely garden. I'll take you there. I know the path so well. To hell. My child, my love, I'm deep ashamed you went through life alone. And yet despite my dreadful fall from grace, I never once forgot your name or face. When I see evening this kind of mine began to rave and crave for the blood of wine, and as he drank that cup of Satan's blood, he made the grave mistake of crying roses. Well, it's one thing for the likes of me to mix and mingle with the likes of me. We are both born from God's most lonely clay and dust. But how comes this man to cry out rose? Well, I can't see too clear, but I followed him here. I've been back a time or two, trying to figure out who was who. They denied tracking me. Was this Mr. Datchery? So I followed his tracks to his lodging round the back, and I hate to confess, but well, I watched the man arrest. And the letter said what he was without his bold disguise, and the job took theatrics and no fear of hazard. Dick Datchery was buzzard.
Yes, it is not
in chance for some public acclaim, just a shred of a second of fame. As a playwright, a plot to unravel should not cause a problem much harder to tame. This was my greatest audition, 2 decent roles at one time. Finally some recognition, staging the scene of the crime. Going out on a limerick, out on a limerick, out on a limerick, yeah. I found a theatrical kit, and as debauchery I did my bit. So declare Neville's name, I confess to my shame, 'twas for vanity too, I admit. And followed John Jasper high-low, to the dens he descends to below. And when Puffer came near, 'twas immediately clear my suspicions were quite apropos. So I crept in the lodgings of Jasper, dressed in that wig, what a sight! There I found Roosevelt's glass, her mother she came true that night. Jasper took it from there after burying it dead by the rear river bed, I suppose. Tell him that Datchery knows, and the proof is quite clear that it's bring Jasper here to be tried with entirely and strong. And from this limerick, let him be hung!
I will not lie. I wished Ned to die. Twice dead am I. The man who split in twain, yet 2 eyes remain. A soul genteel who can conceal the venom in his brain. And if he draws upon the pause in madness, opium smoke supplies. Why miss the great surprise? There are 2 men in need, and cunning bright is he, who hides himself, resigns himself, where I've no eyes to see. But now I think he's at the brink of breaking through the door. I'm in, he's out, I'm out, he's free, I'm free, I'm me once more. How many times I've killed that Drood upon my flights that burst the smoke, presumption of his rights to air, his rights to share my roses bed. It took no smoke for me to picture Edwin dead. If that night I poured them both deep cups of laudanum, and in my toast to Neville's Neville, I drank some. That's when my greatest flight of fancy did take place. I watched my hands outstretched towards Edwin's pale white face, and in the moonfall I saw my fingers clutching his neck so tightly, touching my sleepy veil so lightly. Moonfall then fell on me. But God, the deed was much too easily done. As much as over as it had begun. Such tragedy to finally make a kill, and not to awake to taste the thrill. Now I confess, now we both can rest.
No, I can't let it happen. It was you that placed the coat that Edwin Drood wore down at the river where to throw suspicion on Neville Landless. You're a bad boy, Mr. Jasper, with the evils inside you. But you're not a murderer, and you did not kill Edwin Drood.
Are you saying that John Jasper's not the murderer?
Exactly, your lordship. If you remember, that Christmas Eve was a wild one, and I sought shelter near Mr. Jasper's door. And that's when I saw one of you get to the point. Oh, right then. So, I sees Jasper come out his front door under the influence of some potent medicine, and he collapses. And then he picks up young Drood, he takes him down into the cathedral, and into the crypts, and he deposits the body right into Mrs. Saxey's crypt.
What?
Yeah, well, I told you there was a lot of room down there.
Durdles, you must tell us, who is the murderer?
Lord love me, it was Rosabella.
Were you so blind you could not see I killed him, yes? And it was wonderful to do, I do confess. To have it done, to do it in, to see it through. You surely know by now I meant to murder you. Not you are so blind, as I would blow your mind. Of what intended to compliment you, claim you as kind. To feel myself unload and prove with every movement of your eyes. I was realized, a charity go quite mad, and not even mad. And hoping that to kill a man and feel eternally glad. To rid herself, to bid herself a murderous goodbye. Not Edwin, who I sought, but you. I meant for you to die. But the night was far from bright, thick with wet and thunder. Had she beheld his snatch from hell, is it yet a wonder? Could not see the arms of me stretched out with scarf in hand. Saw your coat and tightness work just like a deadly wedding band. So long a time they thought that I would rest in all courts naive, but I believe this pain my brain more tortured than they might conceive. With these late additions, I have now revealed murderous admissions hitherto concealed. Damn you all, I say, you that have drive me mad. Madness led to this. No good can come from bad. No good can come from the blood. Two men whom I never stopped loving in the very best of senses. I killed him when I meant to kill you, Jasper! You pathetic imitation of manhood! All this because he was wearing that ludicrous, laughable coat of yours, Jasper! Jasper, damn your existence and your fraudulent love! Damn you, I should have been looked the other way when you looked at me in your way! Damn you all!
And here's our murderer for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it seems we deserve a happy ending, don't we?
Yes.
We all live with love in our lives. Right? No romance, or this time of the evening, a reasonable facsimile thereof. So, who will be our true lovers for this evening? One last task to resolve. Who will you choose to unite in that commodity we all seek? On the distant side, we have Helen Andrews and the Princess Puffin. Now, great. As I raise the handkerchief above their heads, by your applause, indicate who you'd like to see as one of our lovers. We have the tempestuous Helen Andrews. And the morally bankrupt Princess Puffin. Are we really surprised? Thank you very much. Now, we have a slew of eligible bachelors to pair with our Princess Puffin. And let's see, we have the chaste and missionary, well, forget that. So you didn't mean that, you just clapped. We have John Jackson. You are a sick individual. We have the drunken Durdles.
the only woman in all of England that won't make you feel morally inferior.
Oh, my precious Puffy. I'm going to put you back on the street where you belong.
And will it be a white wedding, love?
Only if there's a blizzard.
Once we were perfect strangers, how strangely met are we?
I find I now adore you. Our best has yet to be.
I find I long to hold you. Fate ruled it sealed.
You love me, so they told you.
Let's not resist this ending.
Once we have kissed, pretending tears, no skill for strangers makes me cry. Once
What did Edwin Drood? If only he could speak to us from the grave. What would he tell us? What would he say?
I'm alive! Hello, all. I am Lazarus, risen from the grave. Quite alive, you'll find me. This tomb behind me is where I faced my closest shades. When I bashed my head against the street, I was stunned, not stricken, not dumb, as Jasper threw me off my feet to the crypt. I awoke in dark beyond belief, and as all above me showed their grief, I was screaming for my very breath. Only moments from death, no idea of the sudden strength that you feel within you, the steel and sinew, as fate stands smiling at arm's length. I escaped from cloistering I fled, and I did not return here till I could learn here just who in hell would wish me dead. But more than that, more than one solution makes me find. Protect families like this time, and you fight for every tiny speck. When you're held by the neck, I